Hey, it's Chris here, and in today's video, I want to show you how to implement a logo carousel for your WEBFLOW project. So below this video, you're going to see a link to the WEBFLOW demo page, which is this one you see on my screen. And before I'm going to show you how this logo ticker is working inside of WEBFLOW and how to implement it, I wanted to take a moment and go through the different features that this logo ticker has. So first and foremost, it does have multiple directions. You can have horizontal, you can have vertical directions, but at the same time, you can also have the reverse. Yeah, you can have logos going to the left, you can have logos going to the right, and same thing goes for the vertical. You have logos going to the top and logos going to the bottom. So that is the very first feature. The second feature is it will automatically pause the animation when you hover over. Third feature is my favorite, which is it works with any kind of content. You can have logos inside, you can have review cards, and the last one is it's fully reliant on custom attributes to control the ticker properties. So I always wanted to have a ticker that I don't have like to duplicate my logos or duplicate the container and do some CSS transition magic or create the WEBFLOW interaction for these, and even worse, ask my client to follow the same process. So with that being said, another link that you're going to see below this video, it's going to be this Notion page that will include basically all the documentation. So the very first step, of course, is to add the ticker code, and it's literally just one line of code. What you can do is you can click on this copy, then you would go back to your WEBFLOW project settings and you would paste this in. Now, if you need this ticker to only be present on a specific page, then paste this code only on the page settings level, not on the project settings level. Once you added the code, the next step is to add the attributes. So the ticker itself comes with three main attributes. Luminous ticker, which basically tells the code, hey, this is my main container for my ticker. Then we have luminous ticker speed, which basically controls the speed. And then the final one, we have luminous ticker content, which is the container for all of your logos or wherever you want to be animated. This Notion page also have this image right here that explains to you how the structure looks like and of course how the attributes need to be added. So let's open up the clonable inside the WEBFLOW designer, guys. I'm gonna have a link to this WEBFLOW clonable in the video description, but for now let's just select our very first ticker right here. So I'm gonna select the logo and then I'm gonna use the navigator to select my ticker because basically this is the main container. Now with this ticker selected, you can see that if we go to the settings and if we go to the custom attributes, it's saying luminous ticker set to true. So that is the very first attribute. Second attribute is luminous ticker speed set to 50. So the value of the speed is in pixels per second. If you put higher values, obviously it's gonna go like crazy. It's gonna go super fast. If you put lower values, it's gonna be slower. So that is for the speed. And then the very last attribute, which is luminous ticker content, it's basically applied to the content itself. So if we open up this ticker, inside you're gonna see ticker content, and with this selected, you can see that under the settings, it does have this luminous ticker content set to true. So these are the only three attributes that you need to worry about. Now, one great feature about this ticker is it's fully reliant on flex. So in order to set the direction or whether this should be in reversed or not, fully goes with flex. So if we're gonna select the ticker right here and we're gonna go to the style, you can see that it's set to display flex. So it's important that if you want to make this logo ticker to work, the display needs to be set to flex. For the direction, we're using horizontal, because obviously we want our logo ticker, our logo marquee, our logo carousel to be horizontal. And then the align controls if this needs to go to the left or this needs to go to the right. So you can see that mine is to the left, which means that all the logos, they'll go to the left. But if we do select this second one from the bottom, and we select the ticker from the navigator, you can see that the align is set to the right, which means that now all the logos will go to the right. So it's fully reliant on this flex properties. Now, one quick note I want to make right here is you can definitely use the flex gap, but keep in mind that the way this ticker it's animating all of these logos, it's basically shifting the content, so it's shifting ticker content from 0% to, let's say, 100%. Yeah, so it's using percent values here. So if you're gonna set the gap, the code will not count in this gap. But instead, what you can do is you can select your element like this logo right here and just apply a margin. Now this is up to you. You can use gap, you can use margin. This clonable comes with the margin because it's easier that way. Now, if we scroll all the way to the vertical example, the same story right here. Let me move myself over to the top. If we select the ticker, then you're gonna see that the direction it's set to vertical, which means that all the logos will be animated vertically. And for the line, it's set to top, which means that all the logos, they'll go to the top. And in the next example, this one right here, you can see that it's aligned to the bottom, which means all the logos will go to the bottom. Now for the very last example, which is fade right here, I'm using CSS technique, which is called mask image. So with this ticker selected, if you're gonna go to the style and you're gonna scroll all the way to the custom properties, all the way to the bottom, you're gonna see two properties: mask image, which will basically be just a gradient, and then mask mode set to alpha. This gradient that just go from white to black, and because we have alpha, it's looking over this black and white to make this fade. The ticker will automatically clone your logos. So even if you have like 3 logos, it will duplicate a few of them. So there's like enough logos to create this looping animation. And same applies for basically any kind of element that you put inside this ticker content. And all the ticker it's looking for is for the display flex to be applied to the div block that is using Lumious ticker set to true, right? So basically the parent of your entire logo carousel. And the second thing, of course, it's looking for the attributes itself. These 3 attributes: Lumious ticker speed, which controls the speed, and the final one, Lumious ticker content, which defines the content that needs to be animated. So with that said, that was everything for today's clonable. And if you're gonna have any questions, keep in mind, YouTube section, it's your best friend. Bye-bye.